All right, this is a situation I think we've all found ourselves in at one time or another. You wake up and there's a dead body in your house and you have no idea how it got there. And the issue is you don't even know who it is, but also you sleepwalk. So there's a pretty good chance that you did this, you just don't remember any of it. That's what The Woman in the Wall is about. What is going on, everybody? My name is Pat. I am the voice behind 99% of what you'll hear on this channel. And today we are doing a spoiler-free review of the Showtime / Paramount Plus show, The Woman in the Wall. This is a limited series, and it is set in Ireland, and it is about so much more than just waking up with a dead body, having no idea how it got there. We've kind of seen shows like this before. But this show centers around a woman named Lorna Brady, who is the one that woke up in her house with that dead body sitting there. She doesn't know who this person is. She has no idea how the dead body got there. And the issue is Lorna, as I said in the open, does sleepwalk. And when she does sleepwalk, she does some crazy stuff. So there is a chance that Lorna did it, but she doesn't know for sure. And in the meantime, she has to figure out what to do with this woman. So she ends up putting her in her wall. But really what the show is about is why Lorna sleepwalks. So the show is centered around kind of three different topics. It's Lorna sleepwalking, it's investigation about a dead priest, and it's about those cops uncovering a scandal. And the scandal has to do with what they called a mother and baby home or a laundry. So in Ireland, and I'm sure in other countries, when you would get pregnant and it was out of wedlock and you were a teenager, they would send these women to these laundries or these women and baby homes where, because of the church would tell the families, we'll take care of them, don't worry, so it wouldn't put a stain on the family name. And what they would do is they would, in fact, have the baby, but then they would put the women to work doing laundry services for the church, where the church would gain the money and the women would be separated from their children. And there's a big scandal that gets uncovered in this show regarding the women in baby homes and the laundries. And Lorna Brady was one of those women. It's one of the reasons why she sleepwalks, is she's so troubled by what happened in her past at this woman and baby home. And she, like many other women, have never been able to get over the fact that she was separated from her baby. She was able to see her baby basically right after it came out. Other than that, she's never been able to locate and find out what happened with her child. She's not alone in this. There's a couple women like this, and they're all going through troubling times. Not so much like Lorna, where they're sleepwalking, but you can just tell they're deeply troubled women. And one of the other issues is no one believes them. No one believes that the Catholic Church in Ireland would do something like separating women from their children, albeit at the time teenagers from their moms. They didn't believe that the church would be so heinous and evil to enact this. But Lorna lives in a pretty small town in Ireland where everybody kind of knows each other. So a crime that takes place is very, very noticeable, and there's only a select number of candidates who could have enacted this. And Lorna kind of shoots right up to the list at one point. But it has to do with Lorna, who is played by Ruth Wilson and does a great job, by the way, and a detective named Detective Coleman. The big question, though, is this show worth it? If you have Showtime through Paramount Plus, is it worth watching? And if you don't have Showtime through Paramount Plus, is it worth subscribing for? This is a weekly limited series. It's got 6 episodes. Should you end up watching it? The short answer is if you've got nothing else going on. This show didn't really grab me like other shows have in the past, where I was sitting there on the edge of my seat wanting the next episode, needing that next episode. I did really enjoy the ending of the series, but it took a while to get to that plot line. Even the reveals that they had, I went, okay. Now, it's a really, really well-made show, and the acting is phenomenal. Ruth Wilson, who I talked about, who plays Lorna Brady, and you've seen her in some things like Saving Mr. Banks. She was also in the BBC show Luther. She's really, really good in this show. I mean, she's really, really good as a woman who is simply going through it and having trouble falling asleep because she knows that when she falls asleep, bad things happen, and she is convinced that she had something to do with this woman who wound up dead in her house, which is kind of understandable. If you have a dead woman in your house and you sleepwalk and you do some stupid stuff, you're probably going to sit there and connect dots and say, yeah, I think I had something to do with this. So the show is really, really well made. It's also, Joe, it's a tough subject to tackle because they're tackling Catholicism, they're tackling separating mothers from children, and they're separating murder. So it's not exactly a fun show that they're diving into these topics. And I think what makes it troubling for me as a viewer was knowing that this happened. Like, these things took place. The church taking in women and telling their families, no, it'll be okay. We'll take care of it. And then they did. And then what happened to the babies and what happened to the mothers and how they had to deal with the fact that they never saw their children again. And it's all because they did what a lot of people do when they're teenagers. They have sex. Sorry, Mom and Dad. So it was a troubling topic, but it's really, really, really well done. Now, the one character who's Detective Coleman, he's played by a guy named Daryl McCormick, and he shined in this. And I've never seen him before in anything, but I thought he was really, really strong in the lead detective from Donegal, who's coming from the big city to investigate this crime of a dead priest and what exactly happened there. And then he ends up really, really diving in, and through him and a few others, he really uncovers a sinister plot that took place that has to do with everything. They do a good job wrapping it up at the end. As I said, I did feel like there was closure there. I did enjoy that. But in terms of should you subscribe to Showtime specifically for this show, I would say no. If you do already have Showtime, it's only 6 episodes. Now, as I record this, they're already done 3, so they're halfway through it. But if you're looking for a well-made series, this is it. But just know you're getting into a series that is tough. It's tough to stomach at times in terms of the plot line, and I didn't feel like the plot line necessarily gravitated me towards that viewer. Like, I gotta finish this. I was a little bit relieved that it was only 6 episodes because I felt like if it was any more, it would have really, really dragged out. The first episodes are kind of slow to get into, and once they do end up really diving into the plot, you're a little bit more invested in it, but not enough where I think I need to tell you to rush out and get a Showtime subscription or a Paramount Plus subscription. But if you already have that and you're looking for something to watch, it's definitely not the worst thing you'll watch. So now's the part of the video I ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel. Hit thumbs up if you like this review. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought I sucked and maybe you're the creator of the show and you're like, man, that review's trash. If you're someone from Showtime and you think my review is garbage, there's a lot of reasons why you should hit thumbs down. I encourage all of it. But just know I really do appreciate you guys checking this out. I appreciate you guys taking my opinion, whether it be good or bad, into consideration when you're thinking about subscribing to the channel or subscribing to Paramount Plus or Showtime. But The Woman in the Wall, I thought it was worth watching, but not necessarily at the forefront of my TV viewing. There were a couple other things, and then I would get to it. But hey, that's just one man's opinion. Thanks again for checking this out, and I'll see you next time I review something.